All right, folks, welcome back to the Scarlet Great podcast. However you are listening or viewing, YouTube, Facebook, our podcast channel, iTunes, Stitcher, however you're listening. Thank you very much for joining us again. For those of you who have already migrated over, thank you so much who have already subscribed and left us a review on the new iTunes or new podcast channel, Scarlet and Great, no longer with Unscripted Ohio. We'll continue to try to get the word out. Help us with that. Get the word out that we are over here now, giving you Buckeye news over here. Scarlet and Great. Thank you so much for the iTunes, again, ratings and reviews. If you haven't already, please leave us a rating and review. They're pouring in. I love hearing what you guys have to say. Thank you so much for everyone that has put one in. Chick, Olivia, James, so on and so forth. And they come in a little late. They roll in late. So I appreciate all you guys that are doing that. Anthony, I think, left one. Alex, thank you guys so much. The YouTube channel, leave comments on the YouTube video here, and we will get to those. We love mixing it up with you guys like we do on Twitter and everything else. Facebook page, even drop some comments here on this video. Let us know what you think. We got a show today talking about the I don't even know how to say it, Cory. The intimidating, the daunting. Is daunting a good one? The daunting.
I am daunted.
They have daunted my spirit. The Rutgers daunting Knights, the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers, coming up this Saturday at 7:30. And also on the show, we're going to talk about, and again, this is a much improved, daunting Rutgers team. And then we're going to talk about, before we get into that, we're going to talk about recruiting, because we got a big 2022 tight end recruiting commit. So all that coming up on the show. Again, I'm here with my co-host, Buckeye legend, Buckeye folklore legend, Florida, Cory Thompson. Are you doing well, my friend?
Doing well, man. Kind of miss being up in Virginia with you, buddy. But, it was a good time. But doing well because, back here, and, what's Florida without his Florida man? So, I mean,
there's just one of you.
Well, I don't want people to think that, but I'll admit it right now that, yes, there's just one of us committing all this. Anyway, no, but I mean, it's just like a village without its idiot. Florida has to have its Florida man. So I have restored the state to full strength by coming home. Yeah. But I'll tell you, that flight back was the flight from HE double hockey sticks.
Whoa. Really?
Yeah. I three kids had meltdowns. Apparently we're afraid to fly. And, as we were taking off, they just all started screaming at once. And even the passengers who were trying to be polite are like all basically we're all starting to say, shut up, shut up, shut the kid up,
Was it an election meltdown?
No, I don't think the kids cared about that. They just cared about a big mechanical machine taking them off the ground.
Did one of the 6-year-olds come up and say, why I can't believe Donald Trump refuses to address climate change and social justice in this world?
And then they started shaking. It was incredible. Really, it was actually inspiring. So
well, I'm glad at least you got back safely. And yeah, it was great to have you here at the live video recorded. We put up on Facebook and YouTube. I think people enjoy. And guys, continue to look at these videos. We're going to start to build some more and hopefully have really good content pumped out for you here. We're building something I think really, really cool here at Scarlet and Great, and this is just a teaser of it coming out here. So
we got a lot of ideas we're putting into the works, folks. The gears are grinding, and it's the wheels
are turning. The gears are turning. They're not grinding just yet. That's a bad thing.
Why is that a bad thing?
You're grinding your gears means like you're in gridlock. It's a bad term.
Well,
you know what really grinds me?
When you and I work together, it just grinds. It don't.
Cory's like, we're spinning our wheels. We're stuck in a rut. We just started, guys. But no, we are building some stuff
here. We're stuck. I don't know. We just got started. We're stuck.
And some of you guys said you wanted to see the show on YouTube, and here we are, video. We're trying our hand at it. So thank you to everybody who helped us get here. And again, we're trying to get even better with it. Cory, getting into the Buckeyes news, this recruiting commit, 2021. Tell us what happened about the commitment we just got.
Benji Gosnell. Yeah. First of all, he was one of the, if not the top tight end on our board. He was one of them. It's amazing. We like a certain type of tight end. We're not going to ever get the Kyle Pitts of the world. That's not who we go after. We don't use them in that way in our offense. As you've seen, the frustrations that go along with having a guy like Jeremy Ruckert on our roster and not using him in the way we all think he should be used, even though we are not the $1 million coaches.
So you're saying we're never going to be the O'Learys, the basically huge slot receiver, super fast, super big receiving threat. That's never going to be
probably not. Although Ruckert is using a slot a little bit, but still, he caught a touchdown in the slot. But that's not going to be who we are. We're going to be We're going to be a team that's a power run team first, and we're going to have tight ends. If you can't block, you can't get on the field. It's just simple as that. And these guys, Bennett Christian, especially the other tight end that we have, is a guy who can block. But these guys they don't have the ability. They're not without the ability to receive. Now, Florida wanted Benji pretty badly. Now, Florida fans might dispute that. I don't know. I mean, you know how it is when they lose a commit. It's like, we cooled on them. That's the common phrase, right? Yeah. And I'll admit, I've been guilty of it in times in the past. I know Buckeye fans have been as well. So it's not just a Florida thing, or we're not immune to that. But it's like Jackson Carman with the Clemson. Oh, we clearly cooled on him. It's stupid crap like that. But I know he's from North Carolina. North Carolina's been recruiting well, coveted by a lot of teams. Was one of our top tight end targets, and we have 2 of our top tight end targets in the class already for 2022. We're going to need 2 in that class, absolutely, because Farrell's gone soon. Hoffman's going to be gone soon. Ruckert, I don't know if he'll be gone after this year, but if who knows? Because he maybe he explodes in the later half of the year and he decides, it's time to cash in a little bit. We might have Ruckert for 1 more year. After that, Cade Stover and Joe Royer, and you're down on depth dramatically for guys who haven't played. So it's good to get 2. We've got Sam Hunt coming in as well, 2021 class, but it'll be replenished, but no experience. It was good to get him, and I haven't watched too much of his film, but I'll tell you one thing. You know who I trust, Johnny? I trust Kevin Wilson implicitly with his recruiting and with who he likes. And quite frankly, I don't think he's really steered us wrong so far as his recruits. But now some of them have to get on the field. But I trust Kevin Wilson. He was always able to find that good 3-star talent to make Indiana competitive when he was recruiting there. He's obviously been in big Power 5 programs at Oklahoma, who powerhouses in recruiting always. So he's been around his fair share to see what works and what doesn't. So it's kind of like when Larry Johnson takes on a 3-star defensive end, and people are like, well, why are we taking on a 3-star? Well, do you trust Larry Johnson or don't you? These guys have impeccable track records.
Right. And according to 247, none of the tight ends in 2022 class are 5 stars. So they're all 4 stars. He's a low
4-star, but he's a solid player.
Yeah. Yeah. They have him the 11th rating tight end. Rivals actually has him as like the 5th, and we had him as, like you said, 1 or 2. So, he's obviously a top guy. And yeah, I trust Kevin Wilson. Like you said, he recruited pop star Sam Hunt to play on the Ohio State Buckeyes team. So that's really huge that we have a pop singing sensation playing tight end for us. Or do you think?
I don't want to do this anymore. Gears are grinding officially.
You said it. You said he got Sam Hunt. I'm just going with what you said. You did. Would you like me to play it back for you? Cory's lost. Sam Hart out of Aurora, Colorado.
Hart. Sorry.
Well, I did. Look, either way, it's good. One's a really good football player, and one's going to bring all kinds of notoriety and probably move us up in the AP poll and really probably give good halftime shows. So it's a win-win either if we have either.
You can't catch for the darn, but man, his halftime shows are stellar.
Yeah. Tight end's an interesting pick. Well, it's like maybe that's just where we're not used to utilizing people. But where does that leave us in the 2022 class?
I don't need it played back to me like I'm a child.
I don't have to have it read back to me. A little Few Good Men reference there for you. No, Cory, where does this leave us into 2022 class after you obviously the pop stars in the 2021 class, I believe, but where's Benji leave us?
Right now, we're number 1 in 2022 for now. We don't have the highest average. Oklahoma and Georgia have the highest averages so far, 96, and we're about 94. But still number 1 with 7 commits. We have just, according to our commits in 2022, there's about to be a few explosions in recruiting there.
Yeah, Benji, let's clip that. This was not it.
No, this wasn't. No, they haven't been. No, they weren't. Like, guys, it's about to get serious. 4-star tight end. Yeah, out of North Carolina. No. No, I mean, look, they are possibly in the next week or two about to get the number 1 quarterback in the country for 2022 to commit. Quinn, I can't say his name right. Quinn Ewers. I don't know how to say
Ewers, I think Ewers. Yeah.
Ewers, yeah. I should have looked that up first because honestly, I read it so much, I just never care to hear it. So
yeah, no, I understand that. That's fair.
But no, he just committed from Texas. Ohio State's the heavy favorite. We didn't know when the timeline would be for that, but it might be, from what we're understanding, be fairly soon on that.
So number 1 class and maybe the number 1 quarterback in the class.
Yeah. Why would a quarterback want to play for Ryan Day?
Yeah, I think it's a good time. This is the moment in the show where I start eating my candy. You
still got a lot of leftover chocolate, don't you?
Not as much as I should have.
Oh, jeez, Johnny. The last day I was there, I was so nervous about the flight. Because I can't stand airports. I think I ate like 30, 40 pieces of just chocolate.
Well, I'm not saying you did it. I'm saying I should have more left. But what I've been eating.
Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's just so easy to snack on. You and Lana just had it out there. It's like, what do you want me to do? It's not my fault.
Yeah, we got like 3 trick-or-treaters. So
yeah, had a bag of 90 pieces. Nobody took any.
Yeah, it's not our fault, guys. We didn't buy too much. Seriously, it was a dreadful turnout. So maybe they knew Cory was there.
They knew.
He did have to register with something in the state when he came in. So maybe that was.
But I'm from Florida. They had to know that.
It was like, Floridian and nearby. I had to put a sign in my yard. It was awful.
Exactly. Floridian staying with us little kids. I'm like, just walk away, dear.
Yeah. That's a good moment in the show to eat my Halloween candy. That's good news. Kit Kat's going down right here. Number 1 recruiting class right now.
Candy. Kit Kats are addictive, man. They're good.
They are. They really are. All right.
Josh Terry doesn't like Kit Kats because he has terrible candy takes.
What?
I know. He said that last couple Halloweens ago. He says Kit Kat's a terrible candy.
What a terrible person.
He is a terrible person.
That's disgusting. No wonder he didn't last in the NFL.
That's probably what it is.
Analyzing Big Ten football now. Goodness gracious. That's disgusting.
Depressing.
However this presidential thing ends up, I hope moving forward we never have someone like that in office that wouldn't like a Kit Kat because.
Can we confirm that both Joe Biden and Donald Trump like Kit Kat bars?
I would think so.
I'd like to think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Joe Biden would like it, and Donald Trump's body type is clearly not one to turn down a candy bar.
Sure.
So I think, yeah. All right, let's get into the game.
Why was that never asked in the debates? The media's covering us up.
The swamp. Let's get into the game. Rutgers, the daunting Scarlet Knights.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just say, Cory, I believe this a little bit I've seen of them, and the fact that with some fortuitous bounces of the ball, they did beat Michigan State, who isn't awful, but I don't think they're necessarily anything other than average. But they won that game, and they looked way more competent than they had in spurts against Indiana. They improved.
Where they're happening, thinking, what year is this?
They look. I guess this is what you should say about Rutgers. They look way less athletic than a elite or really good football team, but actually somewhat disciplined and coherent. So I think that's what Greg Schiano brought to them. So that's
to give Schiano a lifetime contract. It's never going to get better than him. And he, for whatever reason, he needs to take that contract. You're not going to go to a Power 5 program and turn it around. You just need to stay there and do the best you can because for whatever reason that area works for him.
Yeah, and it is talent rich. If he can if he can do what a Mike Loxley does, and every now and then keep one of those high 4 stars, 5 stars there for some
unknown reason, of them per year. Yep.
And then get the 3-star talent from around, then he could just be bad. Like I said, Rutgers Rutgers can improve a lot and just be bad. I think they're there. I think they've improved so much, Corey, that they're just regular bad, or maybe even painfully below, slightly below average, or below average right now is maybe how to describe them.
No, they're bad.
Yeah. So would you say bad, not yet below average?
No, they're not yet below average. They're just bad.
Okay.
They're going to win probably 3 games this year or something, but that's still better than what they've been.
Yeah, I mean, 3-6. I mean, out of 12 games or 9-game season, that's
that's right. Okay, take that to 2 games. Forget it.
Then they've already got one of them out of the way.
Yeah, that's true. It ain't gonna, and then the second one ain't coming this week either.
Okay,
but yeah, I agree with you. I've seen them on 2 games now. I actually enjoyed watching them against Indiana because it was it wasn't just one of those games against Rutgers like last year when Indiana beat them 35-0 last year. Michigan State beat them 27-0 last year. It was just pitiful to watch. It's like Rutgers is up on the schedule. Who cares? Even if it's Ohio State Rutgers, who cares?
We can't really.
As much as we love Ohio State, it was like, why even watch that pile of crap? It's just like it's just going to be a beating. To Rutgers' credit, last year we obviously went to sleep a little bit during the game and they competed a little bit, but we knew what the end result was going to be. It was over. It's just who cares? But then they go and hire Schiano, probably the greatest coach in Rutgers history, and they're back to being right away. By the way, he got a lot of transfers. He got a lot of decent recruits. I think he was in the top 25 at one point in the rankings for recruiting. He's not a bad recruiter. He's a relentless recruiter, and he actually said credits Urban Meyer for teaching him to be a more relentless recruiter, and not a bad coach. And I will always pull for him to do better at Rutgers than anybody does at Tennessee for what Tennessee pulled with him. But in fact, I'd love for Rutgers and Tennessee to meet up in a bowl game and then Rutgers to surprise them. But
could you imagine?
Dude, we would never. This would be a Rutgers fan show after that.
I mean, I would celebrate. You saw how hard I was rooting for Boston College against Clemson because of Hafley.
I was right there with you. Yeah.
I would be rooting that hard in that game. I mean, I don't know that I would set something on fire.
Yeah, you would. You do that anyway.
I would get pretty close. I mean, in Florida, it would be hard to differentiate in your neighborhood because things are set on fire all the time.
True. And there's smoke everywhere.
Right. They're better, Corey, because I was able to talk about them and actually finish my candy bar.
Without puking.
Yeah, not at all. So they're better. I think maybe what we'll see here is them look lined up competently. They'll be able to do things like stuff a few run plays. Our running game's not great anyway. Schiano is going to have a good defense. It probably forces them to do what we talked about. They're never just going to let you hand the ball. Teams aren't just going to opt to let you hand the ball off and run it down their throat. So without some diversity in the run game, there will be some run plays that they're going to be good enough to stuff, right? And that's not saying our run game's that bad. That happens when you run the ball 20, 30 times, right? Some plays are going to get stuffed. I don't care who you play against. They'll be able to do things like that. Sometimes they put a good hat on a hat in running and they spring a good run. They'll spring a run now and then. But like you said, they actually throw the ball even more than we do. So maybe we see the ball move from time to time. Maybe it looks something like last year, actually, because they overperformed and we underperformed last year. And I think we won something like 59-21. I could actually see the same score, but the score is indicative of actually a much more competitive team, not because of, like you said, us sleepwalking.
Possibly, but their offense, besides a couple of nice runs, is fairly putrid again this year. Look, they average about 29 points per game so far, which isn't bad. It's not bad for them. Of course, the offense, not offensive explosion, but all the 7 turnovers when Michigan State produced for them in the first game led them to 38 points. They only scored 21 against Indiana. They're getting about 17 first downs per game. Only about 261 yards, 262 if you want to round up per game, and they're allowing around 370 per game against two. Let's just say this: they're not off against 2 offenses that are nowhere near as good as ours. And their offense efficiency, they get about 72 plays a game is pretty good. They run pass about 50-50. Yards per play, Johnny, is only about 3.6 yards per play though. Yards per pass, 4.6 yards per play. To compare that, we're about 10.8 right now. Yards per rush, 3.1 yards per rush. You know how bad our run game's been, Johnny? We're averaging 4.5 yards per rush to their 3.1. Points per play, only about 0.4 points per play. Third down conversion are about 30%. That's really bad. We're at 60% for comparison's sake.
60's good. 60's kind of where you want to be. Yeah,
exactly. So their offense, I got to say, Johnny, is nothing to be scared of. They have a couple, I don't even want to call them playmakers. Their quarterback, let's see, Noah Vedrell. I don't know how to say his name. He's completing about a 62% clip, 4.7 average, 3 TDs, 4 picks, been sacked
4.7 an attempt. That dink and dunk game is strong.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, their leading running back is Isaiah Pacheco, and I swear I heard the commentators bragging this guy up in the Indiana game. He's averaging 3 yards a carry. You know, he's 28 carries, 85 yards. They have one guy, that big play guy they got is another running back by name Karan Adams, and he's got 5 carries, 63 yards, 12.6 average. Maybe look out for him a little bit. You know,
yeah, maybe they get him on the edge or something.
Exactly. Their leading receiver is, again, the running back, Isaiah Pacheco, over 9 catches. Bo Melton's a receiver there, is 8 catches. Nobody has over 100 yards. Melton has 2 touchdowns. So their offense, there's nothing that screams, you know, like watch out with their offense. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So but the thing is, our defense hasn't been great. But so what's going to happen here is if our defense looks good this game, it's going to be kind of fool's gold again. Like, hey, our defense looked great, but yikes, that offense is bad.
Yeah, I think they'll be the worst offense we've played so far.
Easily.
Because I actually think Nebraska is going to have a respectable run game. I think they're going to have a respectable run game. I do. And make short and efficient.
We all know Penn State's much more talented than Rutgers. So
yeah, I don't think Penn State's offense is a well-oiled machine or anything like that, but I do think it's certainly going to be better than Rutgers. So what I'm most interested to see this game is actually, it's like a tune-up game that we needed to see what we're going to do at slot corner. You know, okay, so are we gonna we've been going too high safety a lot more, where we set Williamson back where he's more of a safety. But sometimes I you know, he's probably gonna get some slot corner reps. There's no more Cam Brown on that nickel package. We bring in Brown and Proctor. Now I'm wondering, do we just bring in Proctor and put him in the slot? And I've heard he's been repping at slot corner. Yeah. So non-third down reps, you know, and that's probably what we end up doing, is playing more zone with a walkout linebacker with a Browning, right? And then having Josh Proctor and Marcus Williamson over the top.
Proctor's proving himself in that box safety spot, so you want to have him near the line of scrimmage anyway. If you have him in the slot, you can still play the run with him, where Williams has not been great against the run. So, I mean, not that he won't play, obviously, with the injury to Cam Brown, which speedy recovery prayers and thoughts to Cam Brown, obviously, tore his Achilles. He's gone for the year. And when he went down, we were both saying, that looks like an Achilles.
Yeah.
But it looked like the Kevin Durant injury, just leg popped. But losing him is a big blow, obviously. But, you know, you're right. How do we replace that? I think this is a great game that we don't really face a threat, but we can start to figure out who maybe suits that spot better. It's almost like a practice game in that sense. There's not necessarily anybody who's going to burn us. So maybe get Proctor the reps you absolutely need to have for him going forward.
Yeah. I think on third down, what you probably do some of the time, and on earlier pass downs, if they go extra, you know, if we're going to do that, walk out linebacker, mix up zone look, right? But I think sometimes what you'll do on third down, what we usually do is pull Borland. I think pull Williamson or Hooker and make the one that stays the one high safety. So we pull Borland, insert Proctor as basically a linebacker, a nickel linebacker, and then we insert Cam Brown in the slot. So now your speed
not
good
Brown because he's gone. But yeah.
Well, no, that's why. Hold on, let me finish.
No, I don't care what you have to say.
That's what we've been doing. Yeah, I know. Putting Brown in. So I wonder if you go ahead, keep Proctor at that third linebacker spot, that box safety spot, and then just throw Tyreke Smith in and say, let's see if you can, Tyreke Johnson, say, let's see if you can do it. Let's see if you can do it. These guys ain't going to kill you. And if you're not very good, I'll just take you out of the game and we'll do something else.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. They let Tyreke play a little bit more and just like, look, this is a good practice run.
In that scenario, especially, because who do you pick on if you're Rutgers in that scenario? I go right at Johnson. Go right at him. And can you hold up? Can you hold up at least enough for the safety over the top to come help or whatever? I think that will be very interesting to watch.
We don't put Allen from Remember the Titans out there, please.
He's a liability. I mean, zone coverage underneath at the best, right?
Yeah,
at
exactly.
Best. He's
going to Petey's got to get his head in the game. So,
or we can always play Baron Browning at corner in the end zone.
Why not?
Seems like you can
do it. Against Rutgers,
right?
it might work. I mean, honestly, I maybe not in the Clemsons of the world, but maybe Rutgers of the world, he could do it.
Yeah, and this is the game you need to develop. Shortened season, we don't have all the reps to develop. This might be the game to where you make a Tyreke Smith, or I keep Tyreke Johnson better. It's maybe the game
really
where
want him on the corner.
I don't though. It's fine where he's at. It may be a game where you make a Williamson get better. He's probably should have been supposed to be the guy anyway. Do you see? And then
gotta be better against the run. It's not his coverage; it's the problem.
And then at depth, do you say, all right, safety, once we get up by 30 points, hey, Bryson Shaw, go figure out how to be a center fielder or whatever we're wanting you to be. It would be,
I don't know.
It would be good to see, I don't know, the depth, the next wave of secondary players. And
I wonder if they'll let Kavazis or Watts play a little bit.
They would probably be more in a corner role.
No, I agree. But in a safety role, they got Lathan Ransom's going to play. You know that much already.
As a freshman, true freshman.
Yeah, he played a little bit the Penn State game. There's no way he won't play in this game.
That's true. That's true. It'll be interesting to see.
I want to see if Ronnie Hickman gets on the field. I mean, supposedly
he's not going to get on the field.
Well, supposedly he had a good camp. So where has he been? But of course, Cam Babb was having a good camp too, and he hadn't been on the field. So.
That is interesting. We can get out of here and make this a pretty short show, but that is something almost worth discussing. I have no information on that core. We obviously need a third production guy in the receiver room, and it looks like it's being split between, JSN and Ruckert.
Well, Williams is starting to a little bit. He got a couple nice catches in the Penn State game.
Yeah, but Babb doesn't even seem like, I don't even see that he's getting snaps. I haven't seen him take snaps.
He's not on the unavailability chart, so it's like, well, he's there. Let him play.
Yeah,
but I think you know what. Ryan Day knows a little bit more about offense than we do. So
sure, yeah. I trust the decision. It is just curious. I did expect to see him do some slot stuff there. So we'll switch sides of the ball real quick, Johnny. I do want to, before we leave, and I know we want to make it a shorter show, but I want to ask you, Johnny, would you put a lot of stock into the fact that their defense is somewhat more efficient than ours? I mean, that Michigan State's not a great offense, neither, and Indiana's a better offense, I would say. Michael Penix is a pretty solid player, and they got some decent players in Indiana's squad. But right now, I'm looking at the defensive efficiency, and they're actually more efficient than we are. We do allow a lot less plays per game, but I think that's more a product of our offense staying on the field. Yeah.
And because the third down conversions, they're actually better at it than we are. We allow 36% completion percentage on third down, and they allow 31%. I mean, we allow less points per play, so we're more efficient in that arena. But they allow less yards per pass, less yards per rush by a wide margin on less yards per rush, less yards per play. Their red zone scoring is the exact same, but so that's kind of interesting to me that their defense in a lot of ways has actually been more efficient. But do you just chalk that up to who they're playing versus who we're playing?
A little bit, but I don't think it matters, because here's why. Our defense isn't going against their defense. Our defense is going against their offense. And when
our defense will look a lot better than their defense this week for sure.
Right. Well, my point is, it's going to be strength on strength. If their defense is obviously the strong suit, they have a defensive head coach, it is going against our strength of our team, which is the offense. So I don't think it will matter. There may be times when they're frustrating us a little bit. We got to figure this out. Like I said, they'll stuff a run here and there. Maybe they get pressure on Fields. If I was Greg Schiano, I would blitz Justin Fields until he figures out how to counter it. I really, really would. I would. You know what I would do, Cory?
What's that?
I would blitz all night.
I blitz all night.
Leave no doubt. I wouldn't let him gain another yard. No, that's what it's probably what I would do. You're playing with house money anyways. But going back to this is what I think our defensive kind of issues are. One, a lot of new personnel and a new coach. Nebraska, they had a nice running attack, and I think it will continue to be a nice running attack. Against Penn State, we had I believe, a clear strategy. Don't let the linebackers support the pass game, the run game. Take away the zone read, take away the run game, leave everybody on an island, and make Sean Clifford beat us, and I don't think he can. And I think it worked. It surrendered a lot more yardage here. So that's why I think our defense is not yet to the point where it's putting up really sweet statistical numbers. And I do think they're probably competent on defense legitimately, but also haven't played the level of competition that we have.
No, I agree with that. I just want to point out a couple of players you might hear their names as leading tackler on their team is a linebacker. I am not even Fatakasi. I guess I'm trying.
You got yourself into this mess.
I did. But he's leading tackler, 24 tackles.
Oh, no. Timeout.
Trey Sermon is a DB that's pretty. Oh boy,
little connectivity issue. That's fine. I got to back you up a second. I want you to do the first and last name of their leading tackler.
No.
I mean, you brought it up. I said we need to get out of here. You're like, no, I said this is what happens when you do silly things. I said let's get out of here, and you said no. Let's go down the Rutgers defensive roster because that's interesting.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to try to make it a better show. My bad.
Well. Now you've made your bed. Now you got to lie in it. Tell me his name.
It's Big O.
No. Say it. Sound it out slowly for us.
Adekunle Fatakasi.
That's actually a lot better than I thought you would do. Do it again.
No faith in me whatsoever.
Alakunye Fatakasi. I think that's probably
Adekunle.
No, there's no D.
Fatakasi.
There's no D. It's O-L. Alakunye.
That's what I said. Alakunle.
You say Ada.
No, I did not.
I can have it played back for you.
I don't need it played back to me.
Okay. He is their leading tackler. And right behind him, go ahead, take a shot at number 2.
I'm gonna highlight 4 guys. I'm just highlighting this guy because he's former Ohio State. He has a pick. He's one of their leading tacklers, and DB Brendan White. You recognize that name. Starting safety for them. Number 7. You'll see him on the field. Another defensive back they have is pretty solid. 2 pass defenses, 1 interception. Trey Avery. Now, you can be solid all you want. Going against Olave Wilson don't mean I don't care how solid you are. And then a leading sack artist is so far a linebacker, Mohamed Toure. There's a 4 guys you might want to hear their names a little. You're going to hear their names a little bit on Saturday. But again, it won't matter. Our offense is a juggernaut. Johnny, you know what I want to see from this? This is a team that stops the run pretty well, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see our run game flash.
Yeah,
that's how I'll know we have gotten a little bit better or we're improving. Is if I see our pass game light it up. Okay, that's what we do. We haven't run the ball exceptionally well. This is a team that, even if it is just Rutgers, they have been stuffing the run at least decently, according to the stats. Yards per rush, 2.5 yards per rush. I want to see us run the ball pretty efficiently this week. That's what I'm really looking for.
That would be nice. I say you won't see it, but I think you will at least see it in spurts. I think what will be required is some diversity in the run game, like we did in the first drive. Maybe a fly sweep here and there, things like that. But that will be key to look forward to. Who do we put on islands defensively? What is the new scheme with no Cam Brown? And can we shove some people around and run the football a little bit?
No, that's exactly what I'm hoping to see. Other than that, what's your score prediction?
Last year, I think, like I said, they overperformed. We underperformed. I think we had 56-21. I'm going to say 55-14.
I'm going with 56 to. I'm going to say they're going to get a field goal and say 17.
Okay. Kind of smart choice by you going with the 56, meaning that we don't get any field goals, meaning we'll probably miss one because we don't know what's going on with
You know,
kickers.
I mean, Jake Siebert just got his black stripe off. That's no coincidence. So.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think I built in 2 field goals there, I guess, with my score, or maybe a missed extra.
You know what? They might.
Maybe I have a missed extra point. Maybe I have a missed extra point built in.
Maybe, but they also might decide to be say, you know what? I know it's 4th down and 2. We could go for it, but we really need the field goal practice. We're up 42-10. Let's go try to get a field goal. What do you think? That's possible.
Yeah. What if we don't kick it? What if we don't kick any extra points? We just work on our
2-point
conversion game, but you don't show. You just consider it red zone. You just consider it like 4th and goal. You don't show all your tricky stuff. No, there's no way we do it because you know how much red zone offense we'd have to show on film for Rutgers.
Red zone situations, a 4-hour practice.
Oh, if we did when it went for 2 every time, there's so much red zone offense you just put on film for your opponents against Rutgers. It's such a waste. Unless you go super vanilla and say, no, I think I can pound the ball for 2 or jump, like pound the ball. If they play ball, throw a little jump, something simple. But anyways, I think what you said to watch for is spot on. Let's look at that. Let's see how this game unfolds. Should be a good game. Should be entertaining. Probably not entertaining enough to be a 7:30 game, but whatever. I'll take whatever I can get at this point.
Ohio State's a rating. You know, it's funny that when the first game against Nebraska came out, and don't get me wrong, Nebraska has a strong fan base. I'm not denying that. But when I remember I saw Nebraska fans, when they saw the ratings for the Ohio State-Nebraska game on at noon, it was like huge ratings, right? It's like, see, Nebraska's must-see BTV. I'm like, yeah,
that's what it was. That's what it was. That's what it was. Mike Tyson and Kevin McBride. Yeah, Kevin McBride sells a lot of pay-per-views, doesn't he?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Corey, it was a good show. I think everybody will have fun watching the game. Thank you for tuning in. Remember, I'm just going to ask again, please, iTunes rating and review on the new channel, Scarlet and Great. Comment below on YouTube, guys, and Facebook, guys. So appreciate you so much. We will see you next time. As always, goodbye, God bless, and go Bucks.